Friends, hello and welcome back. Hope it's having a lovely day. Times are finally changing in MLB The Show. We're going to get some reason to do some investing, some long-term investing, aside from the live series collection players, because we have now seen them. I almost want to say, it's funny, I almost want to call it bending the knee, where they came out with a collection that requires you to collect literally everything, which is so far what we're, interestingly enough, we went from those season collections to this. Interestingly enough, what we're seeing out of Scott Rolen. Scott Rolen, a very sick card, and I love it. I love that they're doing this. Just, again, gives us reason to collect more players, gives us a way, it gives us more reason and ability to work the market and make stubs as well. A pretty sick looking Scott Rolen, by the way, Reds legend, Scott Rolen, double diamond Scott Rolen. Nonetheless, you need all of this stuff to collect these Scott Rolen. It's a bunch of vouchers, a bunch of players. In order to get these vouchers, these players, you have to, well, do all these collections. Is Jacob deGrom in there? I don't remember if I've seen Jacob deGrom. It was right there. Okay, so deGrom is there. Yeah, pretty much every single, it's pretty much collecting X amount of players from every single one of these collections. Now, some of them you do not need every single player. I'm sure the collections will get easier and easier to do, but this is going to make a pretty big impact when it comes to doing making stubs, because these guys are all going to need to be bought. This, and you need 12, there's 13. A lot of them are like that we're seeing, but we're also going to see a lot of these guys that are buyable for some of the sets become more and more worth it when it comes to collecting the players. It's going to depend on, of course, as well, with part of what the award is. Honus Wagner is a little bit higher as well. You get the Honus Wagner, then you have 13. It depends what people are going to get as far as the reward. Then it's going to depend, slowly but surely people are going to get them done. But nonetheless, there's two things we're looking at. Number one is these collections that you are likely to not see a bunch of players added to it. And we're looking at ones where the players aren't consistently being released in packs, because those are the two types of collections where the price is going to continue to go up, and up for those players, because people are just going to keep buying them and not being released more and more. I've always loved in the past the Topps Now players. You need 40 of them. You have 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. So there is 40 right now. So I still do I've always liked completing the Topps Now collection and stuff, and they might trickle up a little bit the second I would say probably 2-3 weeks down the road, when you start to see a lot of these show up in packs a lot, they might go up. But the reason I like the Topps Now still is because people, regardless, they still have to buy them to complete them. They're not just going to get them all free, which makes them more valuable, and they are only available in programs. So one thing you want to look at when you're doing this stuff is if they're available in a program but it's all guaranteed, or a conquest, they're all guaranteed. Those are the collections that worry me the most. You want to find the stuff that is not as available, not in the, stuff in a Diamond Quest. Still going to avoid that stuff completely, again, buyable in that regard. But I do see some value in the lower tier players. And we're already seeing it a couple days in advance here. Prices start to drop or jump a little bit to 3K and up to 7. I still love any players in the 4 to 5K range, any of the cheapies, because again, just like you and me, if we're trying to complete a collection, we're going to buy the cheapest players possible. So eventually those cheap prices are going to go up. So when you're looking, and I think that's a good way to start for a lot of this, is when you're looking at players to buy. See, I still don't like the pipeline, I don't like the thread just because of how many packs out there. But when you're looking to buy some players in some of these collections, try to look at some of them that are extremely cheap that can be bought. I'm pretty going to say those guys can't be bought. That can be bought because, this is as well 28. You have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. There's actually 30 here already, and how many more they add, the contributor series, it does make me a little bit concerned. They start on packs, probably stay away from contributor series. I love Topps Now from the past, I guess. You have the standout players, you have 4, 8, 12. There's currently 12. You're only going to get 2 a week, but you're going to get a lot from the collections and the programs. But see, this is another thing. I still think this is early. It's an early investment in early guys. I think the Topps Now, and I think the Spotlight, definitely the Spotlight. I feel like the Spotlight ends up holding the most value, because people are going to be trading in the Spotlights to complete the programs, to complete the Master Player, They're going to be trading in the tops nows for the same reason. And now that they have a reason to get these master players, they're going to say, all right, let me just go ahead and buy the tops now real quickly, get the spotlight player at the end. It'll be a lot quicker than grinding the program. So that's going to help those prices go up as well. There's incentive in 2 different areas to collect these players. We already mentioned if there's one area where we was kind of slowly investing. I'd say, we had a couple soda shrimps, we sold a few of them. We had them for a bit of a higher price. But there's some guys you look at and say like, hey, I don't know what you're doing. Let's try it again. Let's try it one more time. He dropped there a little bit down to, what was it, 19K? I think that was about where we got him when he was tanking earlier during the last week. There were no sales when his road trip would pick some of them up. But, we mentioned it's like they see the slow trickle, but once they come out of packs, they kind of go back up a little bit. No, they're not all going to do that. I want to say, who was Tommy Edmond? Tommy Edmond did it a little bit as well. He's back down to 27K, but he dropped down to about 20, but back up to 28, 29. You kind of look for those peaks and valleys when they take out a packs, they go back up a little bit. Guys like that, as they get, further into the game where their overalls go down, it's obviously not going to have the same impact, but you're still going to see, I think, as long as you see them drop into that 10, 15, 17K range, you can always feel confident they're going to bounce back up for the higher tier guys. And when you're playing. Right now, they're higher tiers. The thing is, the most expensive ones are being pulled less, so they're harder to get. And then the lower tier guys are eventually going to catch up a little bit themselves, just based on, again, they're cheaper. You're not going to see Bubic go. We actually just sold a couple of our Bubics because he was way down there when we had him. So we sold some of those, and his price instantly up to 20K. You're going to see a lot of them kind of balance around that price. So I definitely looking at the tops now. Definitely looking at those players in that area. I mean, you got the postseason only requires 6. That's probably going to help Manny Ramirez and company. He's currently 16K. He's up to, we still 16K. Hasn't changed much at all, surprisingly. But, hey, might not be a bad one to jump into. That I got to quit doing. I quit doing the right bumper button. It's because you're on the page for the right bumper and you switch to the other one. David Robertson being touched much. Always back up to 4K, up to 9K already. So you're seeing it in a lot of these guys. I know one thing I will say is don't be too afraid when you see the prices skyrocket like this. I mean, they could go back down, but the thing is they're being dried up off the marketplace. There's none available after people complete them. And it depends when you watch this video. If you watch this video in a month, 2 months, and now there's like 13 of these up, then maybe. But right now it's collect 6. There's currently 7. You get the Scott Rolen postseason voucher. So that's kind of the name of the game they're doing right now, where you're seeing like you need 6, they got 7 available. You need 5, they got 6 available. So on and so forth, where it's giving you the options. But again, people are still going to go to the cheapest one. Cheapest one, probably a good thing to invest in right now, because a lot of these cards, especially in collections like this, are getting to that point where people ain't really buying them to use. But if you can get the cheapest one available, scoop a couple of them up. And it depends where they come from. This is in the Marlins live series. This is in the Red Sox live series. So I really like this one. I really like this postseason series one right now in particular, too, just because people got to grind it a little bit. And a lot of people are going to grind. I mean, they can grind these collections. It's not difficult, but you have to do a little extra work compared to just going straight to the auction house and buying things. Robertson's in packs right now. Not a fan of that. Looks like Ryan Howard's Phillies live series, and then the Ramirez. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do think there's a good chance that Manny Ramirez goes up a little bit. All things considered, Steve Carlton, if he ever gets out of multiplayer rewards, we can see the same story there. He had multiplayer rewards now, so he's still in it, which I find hard to believe he's been in it that long. But you see these guys come out of packs, they're going to go up a little bit. Interesting to see where the 20th anniversary ones go. They're already going up as well, because these are never going to be released again. You need all 12 of them. This could be a gold mine. Right now, we're seeing, they already jumped. This bad boy's already up to 18K. It could be a gold mine, though, because they are diamonds. You don't get them again. They don't come back. It was the beginning of the year thing. And if you're ever to take a swing, it's probably going to be some of these players right here. How do you get, there's 12 of them. Who is this? Aaron Judge. Defeat stadium challenges for a chance to earn this player item. So you do get some of them from playing the stadium challenges, starter program, theme programs. There's a couple programs. The rest are paid for. You got to be careful with that. They might release more. They could. Very possible. But right now, we haven't seen a lot releasing. People are going to be buying these off the auction house. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Enough so where I'm probably going to go. We said at the beginning of the year, though. We said, hey, beginning of the year, scoop these bad boys up and it turned out to be a great investment if you would have. He said, scoop them beginning of the year, eventually going to start trickling up. That's what we're seeing. David Wright and company. Now they're shooting up because of this collection. But as long as no more of these get released, and as long as people are pouring out the stubs to do all these, that's going to be one that is a prime example of just kind of stuck where it's at for a while. Nonetheless, as always, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all found it helpful. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.